Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to Dan and I as well. It's time for ECS North American region. We've sent Dan, Yanko and Henry away to Matt, Yanko and Henry away to faraway's place, and we are back here in the driving seats for some North American Counter-Strike. So we're going to, just by the way, if you want to have a look at any of the previous results from previous weeks, you can go to csgoleague.com to see all that information. You can see it down there at the bottom of your screen, right over there, csgoleague.com. So all the historical results, all the matches to come, all that good stuff can be found over in that direction. And second up is, again, the elite tickets for our finals have been released now. They are going to be in London on the 24th to the 26th of June. So you can see there are different levels of tickets available with suitably cheesy names for them. Entry fragger, MVP and in-game leader. So choose your poison, so to speak, and make sure you pick up some tickets there. Wembley.csgoleague.com. That's going to be pretty fun, no, Dan?
Yeah, Wembley's a pretty crazy arena. Just having all this Counter-Strike coming to London is quite nice. Don't have to go very far because I live in London.
That is good.
so that's nice to me, considering that there's often a lot of traveling. But it's also, I think, very, very cool just generally because, I mean, I think generally a question for a lot of people is why is the UK just generally not on the map Counter-Strike-wise, just players or otherwise? Because let's face it, James, the UK sucks at Counter-Strike. But at least we can have events in Counter-Strike.
I suppose so.
There you go.
I suppose so. So it's time for our pre-game, Dan. The Score Esports pre-game for our first match of the day, which is... Oh, look at the overlays, Dan! That is gorgeous. Back to me. So it's our first game is previously known as Without a Room or Without a Roof or Without an In-Game Leader, who now have an in-game leader. All those multitude of names have disappeared, Dan, and they are now called Team Kaliber. They've been picked up by a COD team, so to speak, and they will be going up against none other than Team Liquid. So you can see the maps here. We're going to have Dust 2, Mirage, and Overpass as a tie. By the way, Dan, have you tried the Score Esports app?
A couple of times. It's been a while.
I just downloaded it, Dan.
Yeah.
I just downloaded it. So it is available on the iOS Store and Google Play Store. I've just downloaded it, but I haven't gone through the little tour at the beginning yet, Dan. So, well, as the show goes on, I'm going to take you on a journey of the Score Esports app on my phone, and we can discover it together and see what there is. But what are your expectations? So Ocean has replaced Slemmy, who's obviously gone to Cloud9, who was previously the in-game leader for Team Kaliber, and they were a team we enjoyed watching.
Well, I mean, Ocean was subbing for the team. I think he played quite a few matches with them. Standing in essentially is probably a better word, and of course they have decided to sign him. But it's kind of a weird season for the team. Team Kaliber. It's going to be taking me maybe a few hours to get used to that, as it is a recent change. But Ocean's not here. No, it's DSR. DSR that's not here in this match. So it seems like the curse is going to be pervasive, even if when they have 5 players, still can't field
them, of course.
Field all 5 players instead just 4. So that's going to be slightly annoying for them. And going up against Team Liquid, well, perhaps it's one of the better matches to have it, where you don't have your full lineup now that they actually do have one. In the fact that they're playing a team that is essentially top three in the league, and Liquid have quite a few matches left as well. But you would expect nothing other than a very, very solid result from them. Even though they've had their ups and downs since adding koosta. Koosta did have a good LAN recently though, which is good to see. But I think generally, I think Liquid is still trying to find the balance. I still feel like that they're not comfortable. But they should easily win this, obviously, in 2 maps.
Well, Liquid seems to have a growing issue of closing out matches where they have a strong lead versus a strong team. I don't think that's going to be the case in this particular match, but that appears to be a problem that they're dealing with at the moment. But you have to wonder how much that will become a spectre in all their matches, and play on the minds of those players as it tends to keep going on and on. I
think I would say there's probably just just in-pressure moments that then it plays into the psychology, because it's the moments when they feel like something's. I mean, you have the pressure, a lot's on the line, and you feel like you can do it. But then there's something in the back of your head saying, what the hell's going on, Dan? basically. So, and that's what we've seen. We saw that with before Dignitas and TSM. You know, a team that who are now Astralis, a team that they're probably the most clear lineup that had these psychological issues essentially, and it took them quite a while to get over the hump. Eventually, they managed to do so. But then now it seems like maybe in trying to get that last accolade that they really truly need and desire the most of all, which is the major victory, it still feels like to some extent they also still have an issue really doing what we know they're all capable to do. And it seems like Liquid's having this problem recently, but I don't think it's going to be lasting too long because I think there's too much shift within Liquid. Still, I think that a lot of things can happen with how Liquid are going to be playing their game, the structure of the game, because koosta hasn't been in the lineup for too long. They got adreN back in there, so there's a lot of stuff going on that's new. Whereas for Astralis, or TSM, when they had the most problems with let's say the choking. I hate to use the word choking because it can be a bit of a label, and it can be kind of a negative label. But we saw the full extent of that with Astralis. But I don't think I hesitate to say, but I don't think that they will have the same issue to that extent.
Speaking of shifts, Dan.
Yes.
Perhaps we can look at the rankings and see where these teams lie. At the moment, we are coming into the latter part, should I say, of the North American League here. So we can see Luminosity beasted everybody and are sailing through to the finals, whereas some of the other teams will be playing for playoff spots. So you can see Kaliber are all the way down there in the doldrums, although there are a lot of teams who only have 6 points at the moment. So I mean, that kind of lower 2/3 could turn on its head, really. And I mean, Optic have 9 points, so they're not really miles ahead of their opponents either. So I think there's still a lot to play for in the few games that there are left for these teams.
Yeah, I mean, the most notable thing there that you expect to see is that Optic will get squeezed out into that top 4 spot, because the rest of the teams in the top 4 spot, the only one that's played more games is Luminosity, and of course they've won every single match, so Luminosity are not going anywhere. But Optic can only really stand to have their position damaged by a team like Liquid, who's only played 5 matches as opposed to the 7 that Optic have already played. So Optic really need to win their last couple to really keep that high place, which would be a great result. We saw amazing stuff from Optic, recently at LAN as well. They've been very impressive, and that's really awesome to see. I mean, Mixwell did actually say that before he joined the team, when they had Shazam instead, they had a lot of issues actually just getting practice. In fact, there was almost no real practice for the team, and now their work ethic, they're really believing in the structure, and it's all coming together in that sense. And the work, and as I said, with the work ethic, they're actually accomplishing things. So we might have another North American team showing up to more of these lands.
I find that statement completely insane, that a team who are getting paid salary are unable to practice for 2 months. Like, how is that ever happening? Ever?
Yeah.
2 months, Dan. 2 months. What are you doing for those 2 months? What are they doing? Are they just sitting at home on those? Are they sitting at home, Dan? I'm just going to say it. Are they sitting at home with their browsers on porno mode, just going for it? Because what are they doing? 2 months. You don't practice. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is that?
It's the funny thing though, because esports is and a lot of the esports teams and players, it's still to a large extent people that have played the game for a really long period of time. And I remember also okay, I was never getting paid like a massive salary or something, but I definitely had a problem with work ethic at points when I knew I had big LANs that I was going to attend, and I had a hard time sometimes having that motivation to really put the practice hours in, because I wasn't sure of how the practice hours would turn out. And well, for me, it's a bit of a different case, because at that point, Quake was a fairly dying game. There's only like 2 or 3 tournaments respectively to really practice hard for. In this case, it's a much different landscape, but I can somewhat understand when it's difficult to actually force the hours in when you don't feel like what you have is working right now. You get conflicts mentally as to even just the focus and what you're putting in, because it's all about what you put in, you get out, right? And if you're actually putting the extra effort in, all of a sudden more demos are getting watched together as a team. Lots of extra little details, nuances start to appear in the game. But obviously,
they're playing, Dan. They're playing for one of the biggest brands in North America.
Yeah.
In esports, how can people need to get pimp slapped? How can you not?
I mean, I'm not making excuses or anything for them. I'm just saying, if they're very young players, then that's perhaps the mistake that they need to make at some point. Because that's actually something that in this landscape can damage you as well, because that kind of stuff becomes common knowledge. Obviously, if Mixwell goes out and says that, which I believe he did in an interview, that they didn't really they weren't really practicing, and in his addition they start to really get the hours in, then obviously that's going to look really bad on those players. But obviously, they're doing quite well right now, and they are putting the work in. So perhaps they've got the right motivation, they've got the right mindset now, and that can be a learning experience for them. And esports is going to be full of a lot of learning experiences. You know, there's a lot of young guys who are up-and-coming talents who are going through these. I mean, because it can be partly self-improvement in that extent as well. Like some players actually do generally find it quite hard to motivate themselves, and but they love the game and they play the game a lot and they're really good, they're very talented. But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if you can have the hard workers who don't have much talent and they'll do very well. You can have the people that are super talented that don't need to work hard. And that's almost as crippling in some senses as not having the talent. It's a nice little duality. But when you get people who have both, then they're obviously going to be top players in the world. So yeah.
Well, enough about them. Back to Liquid.
Yeah, bit of a sidetrack there.
Yeah, I mean,
Optic.
The game is about to start, so
not
much more time to burn away here. So I mean, what do you see as the future for? I mean, do you see this roster for Liquid lasting? In a sense, there isn't really much choice in North American CS in terms of rosters at the moment, which I think is evidenced by some of the pickups we have had of late. That said, Freakazoid, I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't even go as far as to say he's a free agent. He's not playing for Cloud9, but I'm fairly certain.
Isn't he still
that's what I'm going to say, yeah. I'm fairly certain he's still under contract, which is why he's not has not been picked up by another team yet. Although now we have CLG with no Fugly. So, but I mean, the thing is with ELIGE coming up, like so many people have been swooped up into contracts that basically nobody's available. So even if Team Liquid wanted to maybe make a change a few months from now, they may not have. Everyone's buyouts are pretty high now because of the lack of liquidity in the market, essentially, which is a problem in itself. I would like to see some parity with like the salaries players have and their buyouts. Because some things which we hear about are just completely ridiculous.
I think legally it's supposed to be like that. I think in a lot of sports there's like a legal part to that, isn't there? I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it.
That's just something I want to find out actually.
That's something that I've heard of, but I haven't looked into myself. And it would make sense because if someone like you can't have it both ways and just have like. Well, I don't know. Like I guess you can try to put some sneaky terms into contracts, but and it depends on where the law is enforced.
Depends on the country,
what country law is enforced in. Maybe you can get away with some things, but in a lot of contracts, there are some things that people can write in contracts that you can't actually enforce. Like they're not enforceable. There's going to be statutes that will be out there which have like a limitation of liabilities and so on and so forth, or limitations of certain things that for example, the classic is if you put in a contract, in the course of working for me. If you lose a leg, I think it's like lose life or limb or something like that, then we're not liable basically, and you can't have that. There's a statute that prevents a company from not being liable to damages in that scenario. I think it might just be in the case of negligence, but yeah, I mean, so there is a lot of stuff going on because esports is so young, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to. I mean, you can't even blame a lot of team owners in some senses. I mean, for being shady, because that's generally like how it works. It's like this argument between having a regulatory body in business, or because business is naturally going to try to be profiteering and cut corners. That's what business is generally about, trying to get edges on your opponents. So do you need a regulatory body? I think you do, to keep people honest. But anyway, before we go further with such discussions, looks like finally, James, we have to feel no longer. We've got Liquid and Kaliber starting up on the first map. So here we go. Looks like koosta's getting himself into low dark. He's already spotted a player, and that is obviously a very, very good position, as it will allow him to get lots of information as to what's going on right now. And he will spot quite a few players jumping down into a lower dark. And it looks like Kaliber's actually going to pick up a quick frag. Let's have a look and see whether or not they can capitalize upon this 5 versus 4. This is quite scary for Liquid right now.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, Color is the sub 4 Kaliber, so let's see if he can bring some colour to the cheeks of Liquid, or rather take it away. So far so good. Nitro getting taken down, so we have a 4 versus 3. Make that 3 versus 3 adreN to kill Ocean, the new boy for Kaliber. So we have the 3 CTs outside the site now. The bomb being thrown over the door to be picked up by Color, who will go for the plant on default. That nade starts coming in. That is the Bardolph nade, Dan. adreN just threw the Bardolph nade, but with a HE. Bit of damage done, but it is designed for a Molotov. So let's see if these 3 CTs can retake here. It's a nice peek and a punish by 8.
The answer would likely be no. Nice flash in there as well. And Liquid, Hiko and adreN are struggling to get themselves in this bomb site. And I hope for them that there is a kit nearby if they're able to make the frags here, but they'll be denied entry, and Kaliber with a great start to the round, with the quick pick in towards middle, and then just pushing it forwards for that B take. And that's going to put Liquid on the back foot just at the beginning, perhaps. Have to see what they can get done here, deciding to actually go for the force buy. And again, there's a lot of teams that would say that this is a marginal situation due to the fact that you want a big economy for the maybe immediate double up situation. Oh, just showing a bit of his hip bone there, a bit of his belt. But looks like the attacker coming to the B side. So Kaliber going for the fast play into B. It's a nice way to play an anti-force buy round. And you can see that it's very hard for Liquid to get back in, but EliGE in a great position, gets shut down, however. 4 versus 3, and looks like Liquid should really save here now from this position. Seems like they are just going to play some light exits and try to get themselves out of there, which is a smart choice.
I love that angle from adreN.
Fast round, I like it from Kaliber.
Yep.
It's a smart way to do it.
Nitro is going to opt to not have that engagement, which I think is wise. So a good start for Kaliber, but all eyes will be on the buy round now for both teams. Obviously, there's another opportunity for damage to be done here by the Liquid side with the 3 weapons that they've saved, although none of these players have armor, and I don't see them buying armor around the weapons that they've saved. So we'll see what shenanigans they can cause for the Kaliber team. Interestingly, that nade that you saw from adreN, koosta tried to use it with Molotov for a retake, but it doesn't work the same way for a retake as it does from planting a double stack. There was a bit of a gap if you stand towards the, well, never mind that.
Alrighty.
More on that later, Dan.
Yeah, the push comes in to beat Kaliber to save this round now. But Hiko's found himself a good position. Just like the rest of his teammates there. Great, but they're too slow to actually get the correct picks off.
Demand them!
Everyone's standing in the doors there in the opening, but Brehze is the last man standing here. So despite the lineup, looks like Kaliber cannot capitalize in Liquid. I mean, that was just too staggered when they went in there. Like, the first guy was so far ahead, and he's like looking one way, and the rest of his team can't get into position to properly take down the guy that's shooting him.
Did you see what Hiko did, though?
What did Hiko do?
Hiko saw the first player moving towards the APC. For those of you who don't know, there is an APC on the B-bomb site, and he just left him there and waited for the guys to go towards the door and allowed his teammates to run distraction. Then he started firing with the P2000. So and that definitely helped Liquid get a kill there, an important frag, and now they will have they will have some aggression over towards short. We've seen a lot more of that recently, but it is down to a 4 versus 4 at present. So both teams losing a member early. We'll see how the CT side react to this, if they try and force the aggression or hold on to some area, as you see adreN trying to do so on his own on short. And here comes koosta in for support.
Yeah, the double short play. This is going to be interesting. It's very hard to pull back as the CTs if the Ts are able to attack that correctly. And you can see that they have to stand and fight, and they don't get anything done. And that's basically the round over from that point. This is often why teams will prefer to play the 2 long or the 1 long 1 card setup instead. But if you get forced off of long, generally speaking, short is your only place to hold. But yeah, you can't easily fall back. You have to win the trades as the CTs in that position. So it's always a hard one to deal with if you're playing that setup. And looks like Kaliber doing it well so far. So it's a bit of a struggle for Liquid to really get off to a start here. I mean, we've seen them pick up 1 round. It was, of course, the round where we saw the 1D got made so well. It wasn't exactly a 1D. There's lots of shots attempted there, but the long-range deagle frag into hold on the B bomb side against the rush. But Kaliber will shut Liquid down immediately. They're going to take away control of the match by forcing them back onto their minuscule loss bonus of $1,400. And Liquid didn't have an opportunity to build any money, so they're in a lot of trouble now.
Yeah. 1 to 3, the score will be. Hiko's bought some dual Brehzes, which I can only imagine is an accident, because they kind of suck, to be honest with you. Not much to be done here by the Liquid side. You can see they put the numbers over towards long, and Brehze has got a distance between him and said numbers.
It's good info. Sorry, it's good info though. I mean, he's got the call now. There's 4 players left. He spotted 2 on long. Although they're going to Cat James.
They are. At least I have the range against those players on long. So I mean, you can play with the information you have rather than the information you don't. So that said, adreN with the P250 here. The long play is not even required, Dan, and they've taken down Brehze towards long as well. So this really isn't working out for Team Kaliber. Seems all the Kalibers are being fired by Liquid, Dan.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so. Nothing, no one. Nothing, no one, nobody, someone. I don't know, I'm just generally confused when I see his name. So it looks like the round will be saved by Liquid after all, and that's another big win for them. It's quite funny because they've had that one round of weapons so far, or... Well, actually, no. They haven't really had a proper weapon round. Now they will, though. And Team Kaliber, having lost rounds here and there in kind of weird spots to the pistols of Liquid.
Sorry, I'm
now
breaking things in the studio.
Now in a situation where they don't really have any money if they lose this round. So that really sucks for Team Kaliber. So despite all the tribulations experienced by Liquid in the early moments of this Dust 2, they should be quite good here. We have a long take coming in from Ape very immediately as EliGE will be taken out, and Ape will just be putting more bullets through the smoke there to deter any CPs. Nice angle, nice off angle from adreN, just getting in his way deep above the pit position on the ledge. And now koosta misses the first flick. That was almost a running 1D there from Brehze. Brilliant stuff there from him. And now adreN is in a very awkward position. He just wants to hold into long and wait for his teammates to go to cat. If they can both get on catwalk, adreN can help them. But until they do that, he can't really do much by himself. And they're both going to go from C2. This is dangerous.
Well, now the long push is starting to come in. adreN going for the spray, not managing to get the kill. Got to be looking behind him as well. He doesn't know where that last player is. Ooh, Kaliber will he be spotted? Before he will, Ape will come in, putting in work. We often see Ape getting those multi-frags to Kaliber, and he will do so. So it's a bit of a dirty start to this first game, Dan.
Oh yeah, this is really scrappy from both teams. I mean, you have Liquid winning 2 rounds in which they have a significant disadvantage weaponry-wise. And then now, you know, we've got Kaliber just after being reset on the money, they win the must-win round, and Liquid still have an ability to buy. So they're still not safe by any means. The only thing that's good for them is that they didn't lose more than a couple players there. So that is something, but they're still quite vulnerable. If Liquid just win this round, they're in a lot of trouble. But there's an AWP onto, it's being thrown around a bit there, but AWP onto koosta finally, and a scout on Nitro. So not the perfect setup here from Liquid, but they're going to try to make it happen.
Legs, shoulders, knees and toes, Dan. Brehze gets taken down by koosta in response to adreN getting legs. Bomb left in T-spawn. So not the start Kaliber wanted. We may see a continuation of these trading of rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it does slow down a little bit now that the first kill is picked up by Liquid, as Kaliber try to get themselves into position forward to try to take some significant ground towards the bomb site, and it's just a trade in middle, but still that's an okay situation for Kaliber. But again, now Liquid, they've picked up 2 AWPs, koosta and adreN, and Team Kaliber, after losing, well, an extra man in mid, they did trade though. They don't really have any ground. That's kind of the problem for them. They're going to have to just bustle out of the upper dark area, and that can't be a good look here. We've got Nitro and Hiko ready to respond. But the 2 AWPs on the other side of the map. But there's the first tag from Nitro, and this off angle from Hiko is going to be devastating. They're so focused on Nitro. Great combo from the B defense there of Liquid, and that's going to be a round from them, a must-win round from them to not get broken on the money. So we're seeing buys after buys after buys. But surely it ends here. Surely it ends here.
No, Dan.
Got 2 AWPs on Liquid now.
The AKs are coming out for the T side, and I like the buy. I think they should buy here again. They should just continue buying all the time. 3 AKs, everyone's got armor on the Kaliber side. No helmet onto Ape. He's opted for the Deagle. I think he should have, well, actually, 2 AWPs on, maybe he won't need the helmet after all. Oh no, koosta sees a shoulder and no one gets taken down. 2 more to find and they will kill both players on short actually.
Oh, wow.
So just when you think Liquid should start to calm things down here and find a bit of surety, it's all falling apart. Now adreN's stuck on the site because he's getting pushed from long. You can see Brehze coming in there, but he's going to get taken down. So the trades continue, 2 versus 2. Nitro has no idea where to look. Ape, the last man standing once again, not seen through the shadow, through the smoke, sorry. He has the bomb as well. Lots of jumping, and that's going to give his position away.
Maybe he's trying to fake that he jumped down into mid, actually. The sounds. We'll have to see. He's going to come through here now and crouch his way across. Oh, he spotted the helmet of Hiko, I think, but it's going to be the snap there straight to the head of Hiko to deal with him. And now he hears exactly where Nitro is. Will Nitro go for the jump? Ape's looking for it. Wow. Okay, now this is a weird round because you have this situation where koosta goes for the aggressive cat play with the AWP. He's got support. EliGE is there with a rifle. And then koosta gets in trouble. And the reason why EliGE is there is to cover him because he doesn't really have time to retreat if there's players on cat, which there were. But he runs into the angle where EliGE is standing, so EliGE can't do anything. So he gets sprayed down with koosta. And instead of, let's say koosta committing and then playing a little bit of the off angle, so they spot EliGE, then move into his position. So that round definitely on the setup of Catwalk not going quite correctly. And now Liquid finally being pushed to another pistol situation, but they're still making frags. This is somewhat ridiculous. Can Kaliber just take one of these rounds? They're 2 against 4 now.
What is going on, Dan?
This is just not how it's supposed to work.
What is going on? What is this?
Okay.
Well, it seems they're recovering here. Both these players don't have any armor. Even the scout will kill them, and they might have to. No, it won't, because it's the AWP left onto Ape. But, I mean, how does he not get traded? The bomb's down in the site itself. Oh, well, that's a good start. koosta gets taken down. So now it's adreN with a deagle and no Kevlar versus Ape with a deagle of his own. adreN trying to play through the top of the smoke now. And that might be what takes Ape here, pushing through, but Ape's finally going to just hold on. That could have gone either way.
If Liquid would have run that, that would have been the 3rd time they would have won with it essentially, the pistols. The 3rd time it would have been, and it almost was. And we've played 9 rounds. So how does that happen in a scoreline like this? Absolutely ridiculous. Considering that would be 2 of their 3 rounds that they have won have been like that. Only 1 of Liquid's rounds that they have won so far has been with a buy, and it featured 2 AWPs. This time it will feature no sniper rifles. Instead, it will be the full M4A4 lineup. And Hiko has no... This is kind of weird that he's got a smoke, 2 flashes, and no Kevlar. Poor Hiko. Literally poor Hiko. He's no Kevlar chase.
Is that an accident?
I don't know, because what is that? That's $400 plus $300.
He's got $250 in the bag.
Okay, well that seems like it must be an accident, surely.
Because, I mean, nobody goes M4 no armor there. That's not a thing, Dan.
It's not a thing.
Either way,
It's a very bad thing.
2 players on short for Team Kaliber, who have double the score of Liquid at present. Ball moving over towards long, so it seems we may have a split. Well, that may be the plan. adreN holding an off angle on the slope. Everyone biding their time for the time being. I'm really curious how this M4 no armor is going to play into this round. So we've got the smoke. Which one is that? That does not look like a good smoke. Oh, it is actually. It's pretty far out. I'm impressed. Anyway, adreN gets taken down now, so the Liquid side is starting to disappear. Got a consolation frag there onto Brehze from EliGE, who moves away. Difficult times for Liquid. Bomb moving onto the site now, but what do they do? And I mean, they're still... The bomb isn't down, so they can't really start running away just yet. And it's only a 3 versus 4. They still have a few flashbangs. It is still doable, but just not easy. There goes EliGE. Is the save going to be called now? Now Nitro gets taken down. Hiko comes in. 1 versus 4. And he'll only get the 1.
Yeah, kind of weird that Color jumped onto the barrel. It's like, I have this great position. He can only see my head. Let me just jump on top of this barrel. Oh my god, I'm dead. But it was good for the first kill. And Liquid not able to have much of a showing here so far in this Dust 2. It's been really tumultuous. In fact, both teams have made crucial mistakes on the respective defense and offense in a lot of these rounds when they have advantages. They've been throwing them away. Here goes EliGE though. Again, pistols have been how Liquid have taken most of their rounds, James. And there'll be a fast trade right at the top of middle to spot the bomb, but that doesn't tell the Liquid side all too much just yet. We'll have to see whether they can do something. Here's the boost. Oh, that should be a frag. There it is. Nitro's low, but he's going to pick up 1, and there's no return just yet.
Well, anti-ecos are not a thing in this match, Dan, it seems. As the pistolers have a man advantage now, adreN is going to flash himself in. No one's going to get fully flashed, actually. And the 3 men will come in and take him down. No rifles picked up yet, though. They're going to have to receive it just yet. Well, now Hiko is. So it's Ape and Brehze. Brehze with 20 HP and the bomb.
It's happening again. It is happening again. Liquid, you have to credit them in this round to isolate, and how they isolated players. And here you go. We've got Ape taking the first frag. Ape and Brehze now both very, very low. All it takes is 1 solid bullet to the torso from Nitro to take down these players. They are at long range, but there are the taps. The first player's down. Nitro looks now for the second. Can't know exactly where he is. He has to be fast on his reactions. trying to get perhaps a bit of damage with a wallbang, maybe finishing blows. And Nitro, is he going to be lucky here? No, Ape will peek out at the correct moment and find the frag onto Nitro. And it looks like Liquid on their map pick are having a struggle at the moment. However, again, got to credit, they found 3 frags there where they either ganged up on opponents or found sneaky 1v1s at close range, that's exactly how you're supposed to level the advantage, or the disadvantage that is, as the CTs in that situation.
Yeah, but why are all these guys getting wrecked on ecos, man? Well, that's that. So we've got some dueling going on. Both teams on a full buy, Dan. Well, I say full buy. It's close, but not quite. But it's close. I'll take that.
It's pretty much
the way this game has been going so far. I'll take that. So we've got the smoke onto the corner there, which has a few different benefits. Does suggest that maybe T's are going to come through into mid. Smoke on the corner does allow T's to have a deeper look towards the A site, where they would otherwise be exposed to B at the same time. So when I get an angle onto the smoke, oh, kind of looks away just at the wrong time. Koosta comes in for a free kill. 5 versus 3 now, and it seems Kaliber's lead may get somewhat shortened.
Yeah, surely Liquids are able to just take this round from this point. 5 versus 3. Koosta actually missing a very important shot there. That shot would have shut down the round because it would have left Ocean in a position where he basically has to 1 versus 2, or 1. I mean, I don't think he's going to get a 1 versus 1 at that point if he tries to push out mid. Obviously, this is the other option, going out from upper dark. Not really a great option when the CTs have 5 left alive, because you can't really count for this being the defense here being thinly spread or something, and they're just just catching one player and maybe winning that battle. Instead, there will be 2 players here. Hiko close, and there you go, first frag from Hiko. There it is, pushing in Nitro, and he should get the finish, but only taking Ape down to 2 HP. I mean, that's pretty close. But Ape surely can't get this done. 10 seconds. He will burn EliGE down, though, before he does fall. But still, it is a round for Liquid. Perhaps the losses were a little bit too great, considering they went down 5 versus 3. But Kaliber finally actually are going to be without really all that much money. And you can see they're going to force it, actually.
Without an economy, Dan?
Yeah, without an economy, indeed.
Without a Rioux?
Well, I suppose so, as their currency, that's not the currency that they use.
Well, yeah, that's also true. So, early aggression here from adreN. FAMAS is coming out now, despite winning the round. Liquid have a weak buy, but so do Kaliber, although these buys probably at this point give no indication as to who's going to win the round there.
I like Liquid's chances more, but I don't know. We'll see. Koosta's on the money position there on card. That's where you put any great AWPer, and he will deliver for you. But will Koosta do it? I mean, the thing is, Kaliber have to flash or smoke or push him away so he can't get any free shots here. So there you go, there's a smoke. And it does kind of give the game away, but can they get in still? This is well, it's done quite well here by Kaliber so far. Wow, they're in here, and still not a clear engagement for Liquid. Oh, throwing the bomb up there as well. That's great. Should be able to get a plant now. And there's still 5 left alive. This is actually beautiful. But can they hold on?
So many people to come in here. First 2 frags go the way of Liquid. Make that a third. adreN having the angle to save Koosta there. 2 more to find. Kaliber getting wiped out here. Brehze only has the deagle. Needs to do as much damage as possible. That's a good start. How much more can he do? He hasn't got that many bullets. 4 bullets and 4 players now. He needs to find headshots, and they're jumping in, taking him down. That is somewhat savage. Liquid getting a reasonable score on the board now. It was really interesting the way that smoke on the top of the slope to try and cause problems for AWPers, at least in Europe, was commonly known as a Fnatic smoke. But they had such a convoluted way of doing it, which is probably a jump script, or the way they do it with 2 keys now, where it's basically the same thing, whatever. I mean, bouncing off the rim, there's a much simpler way to do it, which I might show after this game, actually. I think on the second Observer PC, I will literally just run out of the studio there and leave you here alone and demonstrate how we do that. But back into this game, 3-round lead now. Kaliber on an eco. Feels like it's been a while since we saw them on a proper eco. Deagle's coming out. Hiko with some ruthless aggression there towards B, very close. Not going to see anything going on there. Nobody in mid for the Liquid side at the moment, although Koosta is in position to do something about it. Picking up the pistol, but it's not going to work out for him. EliGE to trade. and get traded. Dan.
Okay, this is getting a little bit scary, but if they do want to move into the B-bomb side, I would not be advised considering the kills they picked up. They should realize there's 2 players there, and they do. So they're going to reroute themselves into A. This is the right call right now from the Team Kaliber side. If they'd gone into B, it would have been a bit of a bloodbath, but if they're able to hit that one shot on the CT that is in this area, then that's a really solid situation for them. But smartly, adreN won't really be giving up his position, and on 15 HP, it is somewhat of an easy call as well. In goes Liquid though. adreN picks up the kill onto Brehze, leaving just 2 players here with pistols, and it's like there's not much they can do. No one down here from Liquid. Their economy will be kept somewhat intact after all is said and done. And defuse comes in, and the round is won.
Nice.
6-8 though. The best result Liquid can have in this first half is a 7-8, which all things considered, during all with all the chaos that we have had and all the mistakes that have been made, that's okay. That's not a panic situation, at least. Look at the money as well. I mean, okay, it doesn't matter at this point, but still, it's been like this the entire map.
Yeah, it's been quite the bumpy start, so if they can get I'd say they have a reasonable score. 9-6 not ideal, but I mean, it's better than it was looking much earlier on, and things seem to have stabilized somewhat. Nice snap there by koosta. Got Molotovs all over the place, but he will try to position close to the smoke. Meanwhile, Kaliber pushing fast on short. Counter flashes coming in for both sides. More counter flashes flying in from adreN. 3 CTs over towards long, and 2 with an opportunity to come in from CT spawn, as short is being taken by the Ts.
Yeah, this is actually quite cool here from Kaliber, and I can explain why in a second. We have the retake effort trying to be positioned here. We've got 3 CTs on long. This should be pretty good, but the problem is that they don't have anybody on catwalk. That is firmly held right now by the Ts. Oh, that's a great shot there from koosta. He's missed some easy ones, but those are the ones that count. In comes koosta with another one, and he'll get the 3rd as well. That's 4 frags for him in the round. A great display there with the AWP to close out the CT side. But again, it's a 7-8. I think they would have expected much more. But to quickly expound on my point earlier, it's cool that they play a fast round as the Ts in that situation where they occupy the AWP on long immediately. Again, we see how much damage the AWP can do against an A split if it's a bit slow. If he can reposition towards car, then he can really cut down the numbers. But he didn't. I don't think koosta felt safe to do that because there's so much action towards long. So then the Ts were able to get out basically onto the site for a free plant. Obviously, at the last, on the last round, you want to be able to win the round. And if there's 3 CTs still on long, you're probably gonna have a hard time still. But it's a cool way to get a plant at least to get rid of the AWP. But yeah, crazy start.
Yeah. It was that's one of the most bizarre, endless amount of trades I've seen on Dust 2, I think. But very fun to watch. But I mean,
But it was born of a lot of mistakes from both teams. So that's kind of the problem. Yeah. I mean, it's bittersweet, James. It's bittersweet.
Indeed, it is.
Mostly bitter, because some of those mistakes, man, not good, not good. Liquid having 3 the first 3 rounds that they got when it was, I think, 9 rounds in, 2 of them were from winning rounds where they just had pistols. So in theory, the game should have looked so different to that, because if Kaliber are able to play much better anti-ecos, then they're not going to get separated in the way that they did. Because the way that Liquid won those rounds, it wasn't something magnificent. They did some cool little plays, but that shouldn't really be enough if Kaliber are playing that tight, with a tight anti-eco, anti-force buy type strategy. So they really could have. Kaliber had the opportunity to crush Liquid out of this first half, but Liquid were able to scrape their way back in with a 7-8, no less.
Yeah, well, we see the Liquid have just announced Peacemaker as a coach, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see if over time such holes will be plugged. Dan, we'll see if they can post better performance on their T side now, Liquid, and if Kaliber can manage to stop them just around between these 2 teams. And again, we see what seems to be standard here in this short push at the moment, especially on pistol round, but a bit more patient. We see a lot of pushes up mid, and you can see the Ts are kind of looking for that, maybe expecting it, being in the current meta. But it seems Kaliber will not be baited just yet. Liquid going for a bit of a walk now, garden stroll through long.
Yeah, this is nice here. The distraction play from EliGE. It won't pull any rotation, however, because all the running is heard from the 2 players on short. And this is one of the reasons why having aggressive short or mid setups can be very, very strong, because you can hear the running from all over the place. And so that means that the damage was not done by EliGE as far as rotation. But the bomb's still planted there by Nitro safely. However, he will probably die here unless he's quite lucky. He's got no weapon in his hand either, and he's allowed to draw his Glock and finish off his assailant. That is criminal. Kaliber off to a really shaky pistol here, and now with just 2 players left, you can't like their chances at all. Brehze comes in, he's somewhat of the star sometimes with his team, but no one's helping him out. We've got some flicks coming in as well. Brehze jumping on top of the crate. That's not going to help him out, and that's going to be koosta and Hiko with the last 2 frags there for Liquid to close the round. And Kaliber have no money. And will they decide to force buy like Liquid did? Again, I think it's very, very marginal. In fact, I think it's more favored to just save the money so that you can, or go light, because against a respected team, James, they shouldn't be messing up their anti-ecos on a map like this, or anti-force.
In a vacuum though, Dan, based on what we've seen so far.
Doesn't make it good though. It doesn't make it the right call still, I think. But then that's another discussion that we can have.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying I would do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there is perhaps a question to be asked.
the percentages are not as they should be, basically.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is purple instead of blue. The grass is red instead of green. This is not normal time, a normal place, Dan.
Sounds like another dimension entirely.
Indeed, it could be.
Well, we have the players moving in now from Liquid, and they are getting a couple kills here, but the trades come in thanks to the scouts. They will be will they be eliminated? Yes, they will. koosta with the last couple there. But losing 3 players in the process, probably not the kind of losses Liquid would wanted to have suffered. However, Kaliber now will have nothing to buy, and Liquid can find some comfort, small comforts in that.
Why has EliGE got a Brazilian flag in his logo? Is EliGE Brazilian, Dan? He does not look Brazilian. He does not have the kind of Brazilian tan skin by any means, Dan. By any means at all.
Well, looks like we'll have an anti-eco here from Liquid. Hiko's going faster than that Mag 10. And the fragging will commence. So this actually looks like more or less how a half should start out, more or less, as opposed to the first half. Maybe both teams warming up a little bit, or maybe more Liquid.
More or less.
But this is the problem. This is one of the reasons why I prefer not to force buy, because in theory it's like so hard to get things done along, because it's on Dust 2, because it's the opposite of what you want with pistols, and even scouts to a degree. If a team plays a proper fast round into long or B with the grenades, you can't use the scouts. You can't use close ranges because there's hardly any on this map. So generally getting stuff done is very hard, and you want the AWPs out in full force in this round. And now, you know, sure, as Color has an AWP, but there's no nades on almost any of these players. No nades, no kits either. Also a problem.
Yeah, well, we'll see what kind of defense Kaliber can hold shortly. 3-man push towards long here for the CT side, and Liquid are moving very fast into a B split. So these B players are in a lot of trouble. No one is going to get traded immediately by EliGE, and Ape will be subject to the very same. So 3 versus 3. The B players, though, sorry, the rest of the CT is very out of position. Actually coming into that flank now, but he's not going to get any frags. The CT is stuck behind the smoke. Will look behind them as he comes down. Probably saw his shadow to boot based on where he jumped down from. So that's going to leave his team at a disadvantage now.
Absolutely. Could have been very glorious, but perhaps a little impatient there. Now the rest of his teammates, adreN and EliGE, have to hold on to this one. This can still be won here by Kaliber, but remember, they don't have a kit. So have they done it quickly enough? Looks like they should be okay. But one thing, you know, for Nitro's position, there's a couple things. Finding that flank timing. There's a few things at play. Like, one of the things that's at play is, if you mess it up, there's very little room for failure, as we saw, just due to the fact that there is landing inaccuracy. When you land, you're not accurate straight away. So he's going to have an inherent disadvantage at anybody shooting at him. His initial bullets just will not be accurate. So if it doesn't work, you can have an unfavorable engagement if they're looking away. And look, great game sense from Team Kaliber to realize that that was a possibility then. And with the smoke in front of them, they didn't really have anywhere else to look. So that's something we can come back to later, perhaps, as we get the AWP duel here. And Color's going to take down koosta. So that's a nice way to start the round there for the Team Kaliber side.
He simply peeked. He just walked and shot him down.
Yep.
That is, that's got to be tilting. Oh, he has the off angle as well.
Yep.
Where you, or should I say the alternate angle rather, where you look for players coming out of lower tunnel.
Yep. I think everyone should be cognizant. You can just get shot there at that timing in the round. That's a problem there. I mean, great for Color to be looking for that, but at least it was crab walking it, so very vulnerable there. And Color, he's going ham at the moment. 3 kills. He's repositioned there to catwalk, and
Color me impressed, Dan.
yeah, I mean, well, here goes Liquid and adreN. Hiko, sorry, and adreN trying to save this round. There's Hiko. He'll be able to deal with Ape, who tries to punish adreN.
Great support there.
So that's exactly how it's done, indeed. But how can they turn this into gold? I mean, I don't see King Midas on this Liquid side right now. But maybe adreN is trying to be King Midas. adreN is definitely not King Midas, James. But there's no one. Looks like he's going to find adreN. But Hiko's got a clutchable situation now. Perhaps if he gets the bomb down safely, but he won't. It looks like no one can gain more than a couple rounds in a row in this matchup.
Yeah, this looks like a bit of a struggle for both sides. So Liquid's money's in an interesting position. It is 10 to 10. They can go for 3 rifles, but they're choosing the disciplined approach, as they often, if not always, do. And they will just get a few nades here and there, a few pistols, and try to do some damage to the CT economy here. So they're moving into what could be a B split. Seems Liquid have learned from their errors, and then they will run past the angle that Color is holding.
Yeah, it's really hard to hit that if you're running past it, although they do get a sound cue potentially of you running, but still it's so hard to hit that. Definitely better than crab walking it, and here goes the assault. It's split into that B site. Can they get the bomb down? Or even pass some frags as well. Looks like it's a pretty respectable hold, more or less, from Team Kaliber, but got EliGE, just poking out, picking up an extra cheeky frag there. And Hiko's found his way through long, picks up a weapon. Oh no, surely not. EliGE picks up another cheeky frag. Now Ocean is alone. Hiko and EliGE both have rifles. Despite the lack of Kevlar on Hiko, the bomb can be planted by EliGE. Hiko can make his way across. They have 50 seconds to make the decision as well if they want to commit to this B plant, which I should think that they would.
He seems to know that Hiko's behind him. So now EliGE is in a lot of trouble, because Hiko's still holding his position, and down goes EliGE. So 30 seconds left, and Hiko needs to basically charge into the site and go for the bad plant, or go for the kill. And it seems he's going to go for the kill. 20 seconds, and Ocean's starting to look behind him now. So this really could go either way. It's almost turning into train. Who's going to look where at what point? Hiko looking around the box now, and the Ocean is going for a deep hold. Oops, so he's going for the plant, assuming that Ocean is where he is, and indeed he is exactly there. And that's a very nice lock on there by Hiko, which will take the round for his team.
He had no Kevlar as well, and a bullet connected on him instantly, but he's still able to spray down the kill. That is a phenomenal situation there. But the interesting thing as well is what you saw there from who was it alive on the site with Hiko? It was Hiko and EliGE. Yeah, that's kind of one of those situations of game sense, because it's like, okay, when was the player last spotted? How long does it take for him to attack from that other angle? But anyway, don't have time to talk about that. We have a potential spray down here coming in from the AK of EliGE, and that will be a couple frags for Nitro instead. And this is cleaned up more or less immediately. So that was a really important round from Hiko's perspective, from Liquid's perspective, because imagine if they lose that round. If they lose that round, their money is shot. And by winning it, they force an eco out of Team Kaliber, putting them 2 rounds ahead effectively in the latter stages of this half. And now what they do as well, if you look at the money of Team Kaliber, they want to buy. But the best player is 4150. That's a sucky position to buy from. So I like the fact that they're deciding to save, because it's that marginal spot like that they could all get FAMAS and nades.
Well,
but
not many nades.
But they would get wrecked.
Yeah,
because with Kevlar, no helmet, and a FAMAS, you can definitely get enough nades, I think. But it would just be such a rough time against what Liquid are running with AKs, AWP, full nades. Must respect that to some extent.
So CT is going for a walk. Obviously, they are under-equipped, so they will try to make up for it with aggression, but they will just make graves as they're all dying one by one. So this is like looking like a good end to Hiko so far. Well, 2 players are lost, but they'll take that over what's happened in the past. 13 to 10 now, Liquid moving in the right direction to close out map 1. This is the pick of Liquid, as mentioned before. Double ops coming out for the CT side once again, but this time it's Kaliber. We saw Liquid doing the same. Ape and Color going to be on the big green guns. Ape is by far leading the frags for his side at the moment. Those nades do a great job of just bringing up a ton of dirt to allow the players to save their smokes as they pass the mid doors.
Yeah, the poor man's smoke. Oh, Hiko goes down there. That is definitely, that's quite an ambitious spray through. You know, the other team can see your tracer fire, and if there are multiple CTs on an angle, you can get in a lot of trouble, as Hiko did. Now, he took the gamble and he came up short, so his team has to deal with it. And they have decided to go for a push onto the A sites. With nobody in lower dark, I can't imagine they're going for a cat drop back in towards mid and B. So in towards A. So Color, he's done some great work with the AWP as a stand-in for the missing member, DSR, who is, of course, going to be picking up that AWP as well every now and again. The bomb goes down. This is going to be an interesting one. 5-man retake for Kaliber. They do have long control though, so that's something that that goes their way.
They must be weary of that smoke though on the corner. Obviously it stops them getting the long range advantage. Also it allows the team to hide behind it a little bit. The spray coming in there from Nitro. He's doing great work here. 3K for him. Manages to reload. Team's covering his angle, and adreN will instantly trade for him, leaving Ape alone now versus 2. He spots 1 player on the corner. Trying to jump and get adreN. adreN goes for the face there. Oh, what?
Ape, massive fragging, but it's not going to win them the round. But that's still great damage though. I mean, that's really important because, okay, you know, Kaliber, okay, they're in a situation now. Well, where did they let Liquid go to 15? Now that they've saved the AWP on Ape because he didn't die and all the damage. Okay, they actually had more money than I thought.
The money's fine, yeah. I didn't realize I couldn't hit a bomb. I couldn't hit a bomb ticking, so I thought he had time to win the round.
Right.
But it makes sense. Like, there's nothing wrong with adreN's peak there at all. Because I thought like, oh my god, he's got time to win the round, but no, he didn't have time. He had no time. So
his awesome play saved his team the AWP in this round. We'll have to see what that allows them to do, because it's a big deal on this map.
Yeah, pistols and Kevlar have been bought by a number of players here for the CT side. You can see no one looking to dance around this smoke. Ape is in position as well, getting the nade out for his team, trying to give no one as much advantage as possible. EliGE caught in isolation is going to get taken down. And that AWP, let's not forget, it is still there. adreN, though, is going to run out there, cut the losses for the Liquid side. Not a great start for them. You can see 2 CTs charging up top mid. And now they might... Hiko is surely not going to expect them here, but koosta's coming in from top mid to take them down. Brehze will trade. Surely Hiko gets the kill, and indeed he does. 3 versus 3 now. This is a bit crazy, though.
Yeah, oh my god, Ape was so close to that shot. He's got to be careful now, does fall back. He's got assistant 3 players for the CTs, all hands on deck in this mid situation. This would be awful if Liquid were to lose the round in this mid battle, but still, it's trade back from Hiko again, as he's got Nitro up on the A bomb site. Hiko's distracting them brilliantly. He'll close the round for the team, 15 to 10. Map point, game point going to Liquid. Oh dear, it's definitely quite a scary situation here for Team Kaliber. They do have a full buy, and if they lose this map, they've got a map which the team is quite comfortable with. We have seen that in the past at the very least, which is Mirage, I do believe. And perhaps Color and Ape can give them the early round advantages. We'll have to see if Kaliber can stay in this one. They've got the classic setup, 2 men on B, 3 on long to begin with. Then they should begin to fan out towards Car and either Goose or CT Spawn if they want to play the more anti-B setup. Ooh, a bit of tagging there onto Ape through the smoke. Right now, just that information finding, but it's going to be Ocean, who's moved down to CT. He's going to be able to come into the flank here, and this is a very spread out push from Liquid. This is so winnable right now here for Kaliber, and no one picking up another kill. It's going to be tough now for the remainder. Just Hiko left now for Liquid versus 4. Seen him do it before, but this looks pretty impossible. He'll go down. Liquid, they're so spread out there on that push.
They've still got money, though. They can go for the Bate. I think Hiko can probably drop for EliGE as well.
Looks like the money did matter a little bit, James, in the end. Now they're starting to run out of it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. They are indeed going to have the full buy on this round as Hiko will get to drop for EliGE here. So let's see. Kaliber needs 4 from 4. We've got a push coming in from Hiko alone, and he is just about going to survive on 16 HP. Nade flying over, but Brehze will take him down. Got to avoid those Molotovs though. Gonna take a bit of life, but get into position. Aggression coming in from upper tunnel as well, and Liquid might be in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, it could be interesting right now as this push comes in so quickly. The play has been confirmed by Kaliber and their forward players towards upper dark. Now the play will be set up, and before the flank can come in, they need to be sure that it will be indeed entering the site. And there you go, the fast play, explosive. A burst of tease here from the Liquid side, straight into the defense. And they are going to be knocking it down. The first frag there from EliGE, holding down CT. He's going to hear the running there. And he's going to pursue Ape. He's going to eliminate him as well. So looking great for Liquid. Surely they'll be able to close this one from this position. Just the last two coming from long. The bomb planted for sure. A lot of time has gone now from the bomb as well. It's going to be a tough ask here from Brehze and Color. Here goes Nitro. First frag for him. The second as well. That's the round on the map. Dust 2 has been picked up by Liquid. But it was a great effort overall by Kaliber. They definitely had opportunity to take this map, and Liquid may be feeling a little bit shocked in how close this was, perhaps how many mistakes were made, and generally maybe even also just a bit of the individual level from Color and the rest of his teammates, because that definitely could have been theirs.
Yeah, that was quite a scrap. Unfortunately for Kaliber, they were not able to take the pick of Team Liquid. I mean, the second map is going to be Mirage. We'll get into that just before, well, just after the break. I mean, what do we say about that? Apart from that, it was a bit of a mess.
It was chaotic. A lot of mistakes made by both teams. Liquid, they're the better team, absolutely. I mean, on paper and just in every way. I mean, the fact that they are actually a team helps massively as well. So they should definitely, with their experience, be able to tighten up their play. We see more discipline from them as well, and just better execution when they're going in for some of these pushes, and more discipline on the anti-ecos and anti-force buys, because when you get an advantage as a team like Liquid, it needs to be that the other team plays remarkably well or gets very lucky and just hits a bunch of 1-leagues or something to actually take those rounds from you. Otherwise, you should not be losing those rounds more than 10-20% of the time. NIP have an even better record than that. NIP, I think, were something like 10% of anti-ecos, anti-force buys actually lost. I think in like 20 games or something like that. Something ridiculous was their stat before the last major event at the ESL Pro League, I believe. So yeah, we need more discipline, James. That's what we need to see.
Maybe we'll get some on Mirage. We will find out after the break. See you back here in a few minutes.